And our Google Hangout on air is live this September 11th, 6 p.m. in Mexico City, 4 p.m. in Las Vegas, and hey, 9 a.m. on the east coast of Australia. Good day. This is Ron Motter, and I'm here with good friends, Verena Gerber and Marlene Ehrenberg. And
Hello.
good afternoon, good evening. Buenas noches, Zakchi.
Buenas noches, Roncito. Good evening, Verena. Hello, everybody.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Well, we had our last hangout among the three of us, I think, back in October. And it's good to have these conversations about Mexico. And I'd like to remind people who are watching live on Google Plus that, yes, we do have that Q&A app ready. So if you have questions to ask our esteemed guest, Verena and Marlene, please ask, and we'll do our best to get those questions answered. But basically, this is a kind of a regular checkup that we have about Mexico and all things Mexico, including upcoming events and travel and tourism. So congratulations. As I say, just ask a question on that Q&A app here on the YouTube video or on the Google Plus event page. A reminder, Mexico Hangouts are proudly sponsored by Chocolucci, the chocolate we're fighting for from Oaxaca de Juarez, Mexico. So thank you, Lucia. Here we go. So explain to me, as a novice, as a beginner, as somebody who doesn't know Mexico, Fiestas Patrias and September. How do Mexicans celebrate the 15th and 16th of September?
Well, it's a very important date, and everybody is looking towards it, mainly because you don't have to work. So the 15th is the big Grito de Dolores, where the president and the responsible of the municipios and governors go out and shout. We call it the Grito de los Dolores. So I call it the Grito de Terror because everything is out there, and it's very nice. You remember the very special and important date where Mexico was liberated from let's say, I would call it slavery. It was not slavery, but then it was, we had a very special issue, so it was liberated from that. Spaniards, if you want, from everything that was not very good. So, and the president goes out and shouts Viva Mexico and Viva Allende and Viva los héroes de la independencia and things like that. And it's a big, big feast, and it's very, 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 very nice. And I have been in the Zócalo on this date, and I've been in the, there's a very nice hotel where you can be on top of the azotea, on the rooftop, where you can see what is happening down in the Zócalo. The Zócalo is normally full of people. It's really touching. I've been down there too. It's there's lots of people and things happening there, and it's a big get-together. And you have music and you have fireworks. Fireworks are very, very nice on this day, and it's about half an hour with fireworks. That's a lot. And obviously the president, and Viva Mexico. It's very nice. I would suggest everybody to go once or twice to see that. I've been there about 3 times.
You'd advise people to see that live in the Zócalo?
Oh, yes, of course. You have to be there. It's like, you have to be there. It's like, I don't know if you have been there. And the other thing you have to be is in the birthday of the Guadalupe, of the Virgin of Guadalupe. This is the 11th of December at, let's say, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. It's really a happening that once in a lifetime you have to do that. I've been both sides, and it's really, really amazing. It's it's happening. It's there. It's in the United States. I don't know what's Oh, in Switzerland, I know because I've lived there. When it's the 1st of August in Switzerland, then you have a big bonfire and yodeling and cows and everything else and cheese and blah, blah. And once in a lifetime you have to do that. In Mexico, I think once in a lifetime you should be in the Zócalo to be there to feel the intense joy of independence of Mexico.
I hear you. And Verena, I don't know what happened, but we just lost Marlene. So.
What? So well, it's.
Oops. Let's see.
What can we do?
If it's not one of you, it's the other.
Yes.
Here she comes
Yes,
back.
yes.
Here she's coming back.
Now she's back. There she goes.
Fantastic.
I'm back. My computer made something funny. I don't know what.
Marlene, tell me from your perspective, how is the 15th, 16th celebrated in Mexico?
Shall I start, Ron? I'm Marlene. Okay. Well, a lot of firecrackers, definitely. Loads and loads, and desfile, a parade on the main plazas of Mexico. And the president rings the bell of independence on the National Palace, and everybody in the governors in each capital of the city of the different states of Mexico ring the bell. Viva Mexico, viva la independencia, and I don't know what else. And that's it.
Los héroes. Yes, no.
Sí, claro, los héroes. So, and then it's impressive, the money spent in the amounts of firecrackers, but Mexicans love firecrackers.
Do you mean firecrackers or fireworks?
Both. The ones with the light and the ones with the thunder.
Beautiful, beautiful. It is a big festivity that is celebrated around the world by Mexicans and friends of Mexico. We're seeing messages on, I don't know if you're paying attention or if you're seeing it on your timeline, but we're seeing a lot of messages on Facebook from people in Europe, people from Sydney or Melbourne, Australia, with all sorts of Mexico parties happening early next week.
Every embassy makes a big fiesta.
My recollection going back around 10 years ago, visiting my friend Daniel Hernandez on the border. He was the consul in Brownsville, Texas, and their celebrations were just magnificent. And it really was a nice cross-border kind of event.
But I think most of the population is at least Mexican.
Well, true. Yeah, Mexico has no better friends than the border towns on the U.S. side of the border. It is true. So we're going to see a lot of celebrations. It's not the weekend celebration. When is the day off? Is it both Monday and Tuesday for working Mexicans?
Actually, the Monday and Tuesday, but it's not official, both of them. One is official and one not. The official is number 16.
Officially it's Tuesday, but Tuesday there is a Monday and there is a Sunday. So normally Mexicans make what we call a bridge.
A puente?
Un puente. So the puente is very nice. Obviously for us tourist people, it's perfect. So,
tell us about Hotel Shishim and the occupation. Are you going to be full that weekend?
The occupation is very nice during this puente. We are almost full. We have 26 bungalows occupation. This is a lot. We are very, very happy, and we are really looking forward to this puente. So yes, puentes in the tourist industry are wonderful. So this is a very long puente.
Are they mainly Mexicans?
Yes. Yes, as you know, since 2008, since the subprime and the swine flu and the whatever happens in Mexico, we have a lot of Mexicans traveling, and I love them. So they like Shishim, and this is a wonderful thing that I hope it's growing, because ecotourism in Mexico has not been on the table very much time. So right now we have 26 bungalows from 32. This is a very, very nice occupation for this point. And we have it full until the 15th, because the puente goes until the 16th. The official date, the not laboring date, is the 16th. But very much, a lot of companies give it for free, because it's useless, working on Monday and then having Tuesday free. But,
Hey, let me ask you this: How do you celebrate the 15th, 16th at Shishim? Do you have your fireworks and firecrackers ready?
No, because no.
Good.
Fireworks are no good. First of all, we are in a sustainable thing, so fireworks are not very ecological, let's say. They're very nice and very beautiful. We have our roofs are made of palapa, you know that, and palapa, this is thatched roof. If you get one of these firecrackers or fireworks in one of these palapa, it's done. It will burn down. So we do not do that. What we do is say piñata, and that's nice. And obviously the grito, and obviously Viva Mexico, and sometimes a bonfire in the beach. But this is it. Crackers or firecrackers.
What about Celestun and downtown Celestun? I just can't imagine a Mexican town that doesn't have firecrackers. Fireworks.
No, downtown in Celestun is the same. They had once a firecracker thing, and it burned down the palapa, and it's not nice. So it burned down. So right now, what they do is the same thing. They have a lot of music and una feria, a lot of things, but not firecrackers. This is not very nice in Celestun. But okay, we are in Yucatan. But I know, and Marlene is right. Everywhere else you have a lot of firecrackers and fireworks, and I love them. I have to say I love them. In my window out of my department, oh, it's beautiful to see, because all Mexico City is lighted up with these beautiful firecrackers, fireworks that I love dearly.
It was the disappointment in Brownsville for many Mexicans that they weren't allowed to have fireworks there either. But again, if you're in an area that's suffering quite a bit of drought, firecrackers is the wrong thing to have.
Yes, it's not very good. And if you're ecologically or sustainable, it's less good.
True. Hey, 1 second, a technical question. Marlene, are you having a problem with your computer? You need to use something else?
Oops, Marlene is gone.
Marlene, are you there? Okay, she's having a technical problem. So we'll see if we can get her back. So she's saying the laptop can't stand the Hangout. Don't know what that means. Because the laptop is overheating. So if you want to come back, Marlene, if you're hearing us, please, yes, you can use your iPad and try to log in through that. Not sure exactly what's happened, but we'll see. We'll see. Again, there's to me the whole idea of the celebrations. It's called Fiestas Patrias.
Yes.
And the grito is just part of the Fiestas Patrias, or is that the big Fiesta Patria?
No, the grito is a part of the Fiesta Patria. The grito is only that's the authority that reminds us of our accomplishment, getting the freedom from the Spaniards. But it's a big parade. It's a very big parade, nice parade. This is another thing you have to see and experience in Mexico. This is a parade. A parade. This goes the whole morning from the Zócalo to, I don't remember where. I've been in the Angel, in El Ángel de Independencia. I've been there 3 times in my life, seeing this parade, and it's really nice. It's happening. It's again.
It is a big happening. It is one of the.
In Mexico, it's like, again, the people are there, and they are there, and we are part of those, and I love it. I think Marlene is back. Good.
I'm back again. My old machine heats up and doesn't want to join us in this, so I have a little iPad.
Hey, perfect. Plan B is working.
All right.
So yes, and I think this parade, you have to see it once in a lifetime. You have to go to the Grito in the Zócalo of Mexico City, because you can go to the Grito also in Los Angeles, but it's not the same thing. So it's really. Oops, I'm sorry. It's really the happening in the Zócalo in Mexico City is the thing to have and be. It's not the same in Los Angeles, and it's not the same in Guadalajara, and it's not the same in El Magdalena Contreras something.
Well,
in the same thing, you have to be, this big parade, you have to be, so you have to be here in Mexico City this weekend, this coming weekend.
And everybody dresses in 3 colors, green, white, red, and they sell earrings, and they sell scarves, and they sell ties and sombreros, and all of the months of September.
What do you call those little carts? What do you call? Is there a special name for those carts that have all of that patriotic miscellanea?
Well, you saw that you have it. I think the papel picado is very important. This is a Chinese origin, and they hang all this around with the images of the heroes, and the whole city is lit up with bulbs of all colors with the images of the heroes and the bells of independence, and truly, and it always rains, but that doesn't matter because we all get wet and we're all happy. Usually, no? See, usually it rains. But it's a good excuse. This long weekend is still a day in a day. Or how many days? Yes, today is 11th. So people are already starting on the 12th. I guess your hotel is full already on the night of the 12th, Verena?
12th not, but yes, well, 12th it's people coming. And then, yes, we are really very happy and full. The 12th we are about 13, and then we are going up to 22, and then slowly goes again down until the 60.
But what I think one has to add to all this, and maybe it's a concern, like Verena was saying, since 2008, and then the whole bad propaganda about our country and so on and so forth. I think one has to tell everybody, and if it's an international hangout, that Mexico is absolutely secure. People call me and say, Marlene, can we travel to Mexico? Can we go to Morelia? Some English friends are coming now. And I said, yes. I mean, we wouldn't, at any rate, we would never, how do you say, no expondríamos? How do you say?
We wouldn't expose ourselves?
We wouldn't expose people. Okay.
People. Mm-hmm.
I agreed. There is a wide disparity between what people are perceiving and thinking about Mexico and what's happening. And certainly there
In
are.
this, there's surrounded by a huge amount of people that are even checking that nobody puts any thing that could knives or whatever, that they check the bags and they tell them don't bring bags, bring your hat and your whistle, because we have some whistles that you blow and they extend. I don't know how you call those in Mexico in English. ¿Las cuales? Las espantasuegras, you know, those rolled whistles that you blow and then they extend.
Okay.
Las matracas, bueno, we love to make noise, and it's a catharsis, definitely.
Oh, it is. Hey, you know what? Do you know one of the places that is most visited by Mexicans not in Mexico for this holiday?
Not in, isn't it in? No,
That's right. That's right. Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, yes, or Los Angeles.
Las Vegas is the prime destination.
Are you ringing the bell?
I'll be ringing the bell. I'll be pouring the tequila and mezcal.
Right. And give a grito. You have to give a grito. Viva think of that.
I'll be thinking of a good one. Thinking of a good one.
I think the nice thing about our festivities is that everybody adopts them. I mean, look at how we have piñatas everywhere in the world already. The friends of Verena, some Italians, every birthday they have a piñata in Italy or wherever. And, well, the main thing of the 15th and 14th of September is definitely the three colors, the flags, all the houses.
Wait, stop. Remember, what three colors?
Verde, blanco y colorado. Green, white, and red with the eagle and the cactus. But all the houses and the cars and the taxis and everybody has right now flags, and in every corner people are selling all these funny things, you know.
And that, to me, is one of the fun things about being in Mexico, and for me, living in Mexico for quite a few years, you know, is that the festivities and the decorations don't begin just a few days beforehand. You know,
no, it's the beginning of the month.
Exactly, and they also don't begin, you know, like in the United States, where, you know, we already have Christmas decorations up.
Oh Lord!
Oh Lord! Oh Lord!
It's reasonable. So, but you know, the whole month of September is just such a lovely time to be in Mexico for those.
And I'm sure you have a shirt with those colors.
You are certainly right. I'm not wearing it now with my blue collar, but yeah.
We all have something related. They make beautiful jewelry out of chaquira, which is these glass pearls, earrings and necklaces, and some others that are called papelillo, which are little like miniature, ¿cómo se dicen? Bolas de Navidad, these
Christmas ornaments?
It's very nice.
Yes, but they're in teeny weeny and all the colors, and people decorate themselves as if they were a Christmas tree. It's fun, a lot of fun.
After this huge happening, then there comes another huge happening. This is the Day of the Dead.
And when are the Days of the Dead?
The 1st of November, the 2nd of November, and that's it. So the first of
week before.
Yes, you're right. No, and you have the rosca, not the rosca, the pan de muerto, the dead bread, long before Day of the Dead, and it's
delicious,
exquisite pan dulce, sweet bread, exquisite. So I like the bones. So there are some bones.
They decorate the bread with crossed bones and a little dot on top, which is definitely the best part of the bread because it's crunchy.
You are right.
Verena, tú siempre me lo ganas. I see.
No, see, the first thing I eat is the bun. the bones.
You,
No,
you know,
an exquisite. It's a very really 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 exquisite bread, and you can have it 15 days before that. So when you have the grito, you can have pan de muerto, and this goes the grito, the independence thing, with this spread of the death. It's really, really amazing how
and
how how we do that in Mexico, and it's
when
still
and when you go to Puebla, you see in every candy store skulls made out of sugar
yes,
with the
yes.
names of the friends, like if it were Easter eggs. You give them to each other, and
Mhm.
then in the cemeteries, it's a lot of fun. That's one thing
One
I'm
second, Marlene.
very,
One second, Marlene. We're
yes.
going to come back. We're going to come to that in just a second. I want to make it.
Okay.
I want to stress the importance of that. What you want, because I can read Marlena's mind. But
Yes.
we'll talk about Day of the Dead. But I want to show you, share my screen, and here's the page I have on SlideShare. Can you read this?
Yes, the
Yes.
Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos.
And
Yes.
this is one of the Day of the Dead breads from Oaxaca, where they put the candied head kind of right into the bread, into
Yes, a
that
little one.
pan de yema.
Pan de yema, very good, yes.
And we'll have the link is already up there on the Google event page, but just quite a few photos from Day of the Dead in Oaxaca. Reminder that this is certified as intangible cultural heritage by UNESCO.
Oh, look at that.
And my buddy Boris, who made his mariposas, and just so many decorations. There's Abbie Cardwell there taking pictures of the baby. I like this. There's a baby skeleton at the
It's like the
pediatrician.
mummies in Guanajuato.
But look at this. This is the baby skeleton at the pediatrician's office.
Oh my God. Wonderful. Hello, life, hello, death. It's all together.
Exactly. So, yeah, I how shall I say it? Again, for non-Mexicans, as I was, 25 years ago, I think it's a difficult holiday to wrap your head around, since we have Halloween in the United States, and people often compare Dia de los Muertos to Halloween, and
No way.
I just say no way.
No way.
If you look at it from a U.S.-Mexico viewpoint, I always compare it to the Dia de Gracias, or Thanksgiving, because both events are family related and have a lot of food. But Halloween is about scaring people and making fake identities and candy. And
Yes,
believe me, I say good things about all those things. But Dia de los Muertos is something a lot deeper.
Artists have become very involved. I have a crazy brother who has tattooed his hand with the skeletons, like the bones, in honor of Guadalupe Posada. Unluckily, I don't have my laptop functioning, and I cannot share photos. But that's the limit of what people can do. Oh, I do have a skeleton right here. I'm even going to bring it.
Please do.
Well, here in Mexico, kids are adopting both. So they obviously want to have this kind of thing of the Halloween, and oh, look at this skeleton, beautiful.
Hello, hello, everybody.
Hey.
These are my feet, my hands. Hello, Ron. Hello, Verena, and everybody. So there's also competitions of cartoneria, papier-mâché. We do really beautiful things. I have another one. Excellent.
Elena, excuse me, but what is that made out of?
This is made out of newspaper.
Huh.
By the way, I'm inviting someone else, a first-time Google Hangouter, to the conversation live from Australia. Abbie Cardwell is watching online, and we'll see if we can get her into this conversation to see how Dia de los Muertos is celebrated there in Australia.
Yes.
This is also made by the people. a skeleton, a strange one.
Is that also paper mache?
It's also paper mache. You can see the other side. It's very light, and it only cost 135 pesos. But
Wow.
it's a work of art. And the people in Xochimilco have a whole workshop doing this papel picado, which I don't know how they call it in English, and other marvelous things, dolls, masks, and whatever, you know.
Well, right. I mean, it is a great celebration. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of your concerns about Dia de los Muertos. Is it being overly commercialized? Are the cemeteries being overrun by visitors?
Well, the last time I was in Oaxaca, which was like 3 years ago, and about 4 years ago in Janitzio, I felt very bad. I took a group of like, must have been 10, 11 people, and I went to the main panteones, the cemeteries, and it was so overfilled with cars jamming everywhere, parking in the wrong places, people stepping on the tombs, taking flashes, and it's although it's a fiesta, it is actually kind of a private fiesta, but it's become so popular that, to my opinion, like every beautiful thing in this world, it has exaggerated. And my concern is if it's una fiesta intangible, or how do you call it in the UNESCO?
Intangible culture.
Well, what are the rules of that intangible culture in the UNESCO? I think there should be a respect and taking care. And what we do in ecotourism is capacidad de carga. How do you call that in English?
Carrying capacity.
Carrying capacity. How many people can go into a teeny little cemetery of 50 or 100 meters by 100 meters? And my recommendation is to make a plan in limiting the entrance by one of the ideas, and it's a very new idea, is like Janitzio. Janitzio is an island in Pátzcuaro. Very famous it became because of Diego Rivera's paintings at 1930, 1940. And people go there and they go by boat. So what I say, if they go by boat, that's very easy to control. Instead of putting 50 people, which will pay 20 pesos, why don't you put 50 people should pay 200 pesos, and instead of 10 tours, like you reduce it to one with 50, and when those 50 has visited the cemetery very careful with some rules, they can come back, and the next one will be going in. I mean, it's utopic in a way, but it's easy to control because it's an island, and I would put a few people in certain very wonderful points of the cemetery, filming silently and giving an explanation of all our traditions, and that could be shown, como se dice, in another area in the center of Pátzcuaro, in the Plaza Tatabasco, live, as they are filming and as the people are praying and are putting the candles and the food and the flowers and everything, and explaining what everything is, very respectful. I think they've done it in some places in Michoacán, but it's not yet in Pátzcuaro, and to control, not invade. And I think that would be an adding to UNESCO's human heritage. And not only that, all around the lake of Pátzcuaro, there are about 10 other wonderful villages like Sinsunzan, Eronguarícuaro, Sirahuen, Santa Clara del Cobre. And I think that one could definitely make an effort, maybe not this year, but I'm trying to see whom I can convince of these ideas, especially the people that are in the island. Do you want so many people? They will come and they will pay you not 20 pesos, but 200 pesos for the boatman. And then, well, I think it's a good idea and a good plan. I don't know how you feel it.
Verena?
Well, I understand the feelings of Marlene. I also been there in Janitzio. I think about 5 years ago or something like that. And yes, it was overcrowded and a little bit stinky, I have to say. But then what? It's again an issue of money.
But as I say, if you sell a ticket for instead 200 pesos to start with, the people that will pay 200.
Yeah, but then this 200 people goes to one boatman. And the other 20 things go to 10 boatmen. And this is the issue. It's not that you pay more in one boat, but that you have 10 boats earning. And this is, I live it every day in Celestine.
But you can share it by hour, you know, I mean, it is 20 minutes to go to the island and so on. One can logistically plan that the 20 boats that are going usually to Janitzio start at the morning through, so that everyone can earn what they would earn in something, I don't know, but I think one can make a mathematical thing and that everyone could get a share of that. I understand what Verena says, and that's the problem. They would probably say immediately, no? Why a few boats will win so much and the rest not? But I think if it's 3 days of the Day of the Dead, one can hacer un rol as they do up in the Lake Arareco, the ejidatarios. Each one has his role, or the horses in that.
The role is there. The role is there. I don't know. I agree completely, but I really do not know how to do that. And that's the same problem in Celestine. It's capacidad de carga. How you call that in English?
Carrying capacity.
Carrying capacity.
I think we have about 100 boats going out to see the flamenco, and they have a role, and they do that, all the things, and it's still, I don't know how to organize that, and it's again authority, and in Mexico authority is not there. It's not there in Janitzio, it's not there in Celestún, it's not there anywhere. No?
Well, what I also recommend is to propose other places. Last year, I personally went to Xalitla and Ameyaltepec, which is in the mountains of Guerrero, where they make this papel amate, and where a friend is the one that is the artist, is Nicolás de Jesus. By the way, we just published a book. Look at how wonderful. Can I show it to you?
We're seeing it.
Ah, okay, well, then that's it. Nicolás de Jesus, a painter who lives there and that is quite famous now because he also decided to make a jump to go to, I think it was San Diego, and there he started doing a lot of paintings related with skeletons in subways and in the urban world. So the book has very unusual photos. And that's the other way of showing the world our richness, you know.
Right, I hear you.
And we're going to, or trying to put a presentation of this book on the Day of the Dead in the Museo de Arte Popular.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Well, if I have any suggestion for you, if I have any suggestion for you, it's maybe to develop your proposal, you know, using your wiki, and maybe not come up with a specific solution, like, have one boat and charge 200 instead of 20.
No, it's
Well,
an example.
one second. But I would say but then say it's an example. But instead of providing specific examples, I think the solutions that work have to come from the community.
Oh, definitely.
And if you give them some suggestions of you could do this, this, or this, but we need to listen to you. But also, if you don't have this, if you have a stinky place, we're not bringing our tourists back. As an aside, there was a recent adventure travel conference in Chiapas.
Mm-hmm.
And I pay attention to some of the English language writers. And one woman was taken to Aguas Azul, the waterfall.
The waterfalls, Agua Azul.
And she was complaining a bit that that the place really was not that tidy, and that there was a lot of garbage around the area. And she was like, I know the people who organize this trip really don't want me to mention this, but I feel like I have to. And I certainly congratulated her on that, and I said, this reminds me of another story from Marlene. When she was taking her boatload of European tourists through Sumidero, and that was a point where all of the garbage washed into the dam. Mm-hmm. And there have to be ways in which we address some of these shortcomings in tourism without, demonizing the people or the place, but also saying, if it's not up to snuff, we're not bringing people back here.
Truly, that's the idea.
And we're also, recommending to communities, please preserve what you have before you lose it. It's so easy to ruin a place.
When we started in...
One second, and I'll promise
yes.
I'll shut up after this. And it's exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what I wanted to hear from Verena. As much as I like fireworks, it's lovely to hear that outside this biosphere reserve, that they're not exploding these fireworks. So it's good to hear that there are efforts underway to protect and to maintain the integrity of the place or the tradition. All right.
That's correct.
No. What I think is...
And Janicio is very, very nice to see. I would say people should go there. Please do not eat there. I think it's not very healthy. But it's very, very nice to see, and you have to have this experience. And this is what we call here, what I call, Baño de Pueblo. How you call Baño de Pueblo in English? It's a
village bath.
Baño de Pueblo. It's like you go into this.
You go into a toilet?
No, it's like a bath of people that you do not know. It's like you go in a mass of people.
Okay.
Well, it's again the carrying capacity.
No, it's not the carrying capacity. This is todo lo contrario. Tú te vas y das un baño de pueblo. So go and you experience.
In other words, we're being inundated by all of the people there.
Yes, you're surrounded by Mexican people, by really Mexican people doing things, and this is very nice. It's feeling it's la esencia,
the innocence, the energy.
The energy of Mexican people. So you are there, and you don't understand nothing. But it's surrounded by this, and you have firecrackers.
Well, that's again the carrying capacity.
No, it's not the carrying capacity. This is todo lo contrario. Tú te vas y das un baño de pueblo. So go and you experience.
In other words, we're being inundated by. Okay, Abbie, you're gonna have to turn on your speaker or put in headphones.
Okay.
Abbie Cardwell coming in from tomorrow morning.
Doing things, and this is very nice. It's.
I'm so new to this.
Oh no, hello, Abbie.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
No, well, I think there's a way of making even the biggest tourist, ¿cómo se dice? The Ministry of Tourism, those are the most difficult to convince of doing certain things that are very easy to do and that they don't do. And giving them lectures and educating them in a way. That's the other big problem, because the people of the ejidos, like Verena says, the ones in Celestún, where the flamencos are the flamingos, if there's not a higher leveled authority, I remember there was some that was called Pro Natura. Are they still there, Verena?
Yes.
They were more or less the ones that would control, like the whales in Baja California, for instance. They're not allowed to come more boats. Semarnat is super strict in Baja California. So why, if it functions there with the whales, why can't we make the replica in Celestún, for instance?
It's a good question. Good. No, it's been. This is another matter. Why not? I cannot say. This is not my issue. It's a thing of, I don't know, perhaps Pro Natura, perhaps Semarnat, perhaps Pesca, perhaps I don't know, a lot of institutions that I am not. I cannot account for them. The thing is.
The other big problem and worry is, we were saying a little while ago, Ron, Holbox.
Well, let's get to that in a second, but I would like to introduce and let you folks meet Abbie.
Hi.
Can you introduce yourself, Abbie?
Yeah, hi. My name's Abbie Cardwell, and I actually was very lucky to bump into Ron in Oaxaca when I was there. Was that over 3 years ago?
That was over 3 years ago.
I think it was. And I returned, but unfortunately didn't get to catch up with you last time. But that was just the beginning of a huge love affair. I basically went over to Mexico looking for musicians to make music with, and I found my dream band, and we've since released a couple of albums. One just came out called From Mexico with Love. So they're called Twin Tones, and they're based in Mexico City, and I have a 10-piece vintage Mexican rock and roll band here, and we're actually playing the big Mexican festival this Sunday in Federation Square in Melbourne.
Which city? In Melbourne.
In Melbourne, Australia. Yes.
Oh,
so
yes.
yeah, and then in November I come back for El Dia de los Muertos in Oaxaca, and then
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm working on a new album based on it's fictional, but it's like a spaghetti western story, loosely based around the soldaderas in the revolution. So I've written it with that band. So
wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
So how is Dia de los the Fiestas Patrias September 15, 16 celebrated in Australia?
I think it's interesting, like listening to you talk about it, and I feel like for the Mexicans here in Melbourne, it's really important, but the message is lost amongst the locals. It's just like, yay, it's a Mexican party, and then everyone's eating tacos for the day, so they don't really understand. I think the same thing spills over into Day of the Dead. It's become really fashionable, and big companies are jumping on the bandwagon, and I've been, I also DJ a lot of vintage Mexican music as well, so either I'm singing or DJing at these events, and there was a big one last year run by 1800 Tequila, and they promoted it with a lot of money and invited families to come, and they had all the Scalavera, all the that makeup, the Day of the Dead stuff. But I think there was no real heart to it. The spiritual side wasn't there, and I felt
no message.
No, I felt really sad and embarrassed for it. It just seems like it was big companies exploiting something, and it's really unfortunate. Yeah.
Well,
So I hope that it changes, because I was talking to people at that event saying, look, you really have to go to Mexico to really experience it. This is just a party.
I have a brother, again, I go back to my brother Philip, that tries to make a whole event of the offerings that are organized for the dead on the 1 week before the 1st and the 2nd, which was the original date before the Spaniards came and said, no, on the 1st, on the 2nd, never mind. And he usually has done it in India, in Brazil, in Germany, in England, and somewhere else. He gets a load of students of the university who want to join the party, let's say, and he tells them what it actually is, and with them he builds up a kind of performance, partly, and related directly with the offerings, and he cuts paper with the people, and then he uses the colors, which is orange, lilac, black, and white, and if they can gather the marigold flowers and the incense, which is very important. He does all this.
Marlene, you're breaking up a little bit.
Okay.
I can't hear her.
Okay, Marlene, hold on just for a little bit. You're breaking up and kind of unintelligible. Verena, did you hear that, Verena?
Yes, I can hear that. Ron, I'm sorry, but I have to go. I have another appointment at 7:30.
No, well, thank you very much for joining us today.
I'm sorry, I had to do that today. It's I thought it would be a 1-hour hangout. Now it's going a little bit on.
I know we're going longer, so that I think.
Yeah. You have two beautiful women around you.
I am.
This is to be here with you, and thank you for inviting me. And I'm looking forward for the next.
Very good. We'll do this again, and thank you so much, and we'll be in contact.
Okay, un fuerte abrazo. Happy, que viva México.
Yay!
Hey, bye-bye. Yes, we should do that. You should. That once in a lifetime, it's a must. Así de Zócalo. There's a lot of things.
That's good advice.
And Mexico, everything. Mexico is a beautiful country. Well, un abrazo fuerte to all of you. Thank you for listening to me. Okay. Bye-bye.
Gracias.
Adiós, gracias.
Bye.
No sé cómo apagar esto, but I'm going to close.
There's a red telephone. Just hang it up.
Hang it up. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Marlene, are you still there?
I'm here. Yes, I can hear you very well, and I can see Abbie.
We could not hear you for the past 30 seconds or 40 seconds you were talking. We couldn't really.
No, I was just mentioning that when Abbie says that nobody has really doesn't know the meaning, but they all celebrate and it becomes commercial and all sell a lot of tequila and maybe Corona beer. I say there's a possibility of doing performances or events directly related to the Day of the Dead, giving them the true sense, but inviting artists to do a new version with the elements, but in a new way. And I'm so sorry, I think I can gather a few of those performances and happenings, I could almost say them, that my brother Philip, the artist, has done in many places of the world. I think one in India, one in Brazil, where he just lived for a while, in London, and even in Mexico, in several parts. He does them in art institutes and invites students, which are more than happy to join, and then they all together cut the paper, put the skeletons, and so on and so forth. So, Abbie, if there's a possibility in Melbourne to get students to do this, And if we can send you more information, maybe. Have you been in one of the Day of the Deads in Mexico? Have you?
Yes, yes, in Oaxaca.
Okay, well then you know the whole
yeah.
story. Good.
That's where Abbie and I met.
Yeah, and I
okay.
I did an altar building course, and when I was doing that course, I saw some of Boris Spider's work, and one of the local men that was working at the hotel offered to introduce me to him. So that's how I met Ron. And I've since I've been making. I've just got them here. I've been making sugar skulls for a few years, and with sugar.
Excellent.
But so yeah, I've done. I did do a Day of the Dead where I a performance where I asked people to bring offerings. So, and that was a very, very new concept for people, but it was a really small show, and it was beautiful.
Why don't you invite the bodies to go
to Melbourne? I would love
Abbie,
to.
why don't you get some tickets and invite these people over there? Easy.
No,
yeah. Let me just. I've got that money in my back pocket.
I think it would be a very good possibility, telling an airline that it's a big publicity for Mexico.
Yeah,
I think one can get it to work, and then you get a whole load of Mexicans going to Melbourne, and a load of them coming to Mexico.
I would love that. We have like the Mexican embassy here. I have put the word up to try and get the band over here.
But, the embassy of Mexico is in Melbourne, not in Canberra.
Yes. Actually. I could be wrong. I thought it was.
You're wrong because the capital of your country is not Melbourne, is it? Or did they change?
Well, I'm not sure where he lives. I just assumed he was here. So, but Ron probably knows.
Where the ambassador of Mexico lives in Australia?
Yeah.
Sorry. So surprisingly, I don't know that. but I'm sure
if you don't,
if you don't have a second home for the ambassador there, I'm sure you have a consulate there. But I would say that what Marlene is onto is right. We have to figure out education, and one of the things that's really nice about this conversation, and Marlene has already heard me kind of interrupt her a couple times, just saying, slow down. You have to remember that a lot of people don't know the basics.
Yeah.
Right.
And we have to figure out how to explain some of the basics to people who aren't Mexican from birth. So that's our task.
But that's why you're here, on
that is why I'm here. That is so much why I'm here.
I think Day of the Dead is such a beautiful thing, and Western culture really needs it. They need. I mean, Western people don't like talking about death, and I just think that the more people understand about what it's really about, it's just helpful for everyone.
And if you can be happy in a way of remembering, that'll give you the satisfaction that they're not lost forever, only the material things, because when there are people in the cemeteries, you should hear their conversations. They said, "Oh, do you remember Uncle Pedro? He used to do this, that, and that. Oh, and Tia Ana, and whatever." And then they all come to life as if it were a theater play, a virtual theater play. And that's when we say death is only the end of the theater play material, but not spiritual, or I don't like to call it spiritual. I would like to call it ethereal. And that's what I explain to people, because people say, "Oh, it's so sad." Yeah, well, you're so self-centered. Why do you feel sad? Feel happy. The other person has gone to a better world, or if not, it's we have their memories. And in Europe, they all turn sad in black and so on and so forth, where you say, "Gee, let's make colors, let's put flowers, let's put food, let's feed them." It's such a unique celebration. This should be international almost.
Yeah,
So,
well,
yeah.
it might go that way. I mean, Mexican food has exploded in Australia in the last few years. There are so many more food trucks and restaurants, and it's amazing. It's just becoming more common. It's great, and I think maybe in time the deeper meanings will just come through, and the
Well,
celebrations are
what
already
we need,
growing.
well, what we need is people that are, like Ron said, and I keep on saying it, educated and are truly interested in our traditions. Eh, They will get lost with the time. If you see some cemeteries, you say, "Oh my Lord, Miskik used to be something teeny weeny, and it's so near the big city." So that's where I say is, why don't we open the umbrella, or como se dice, el abanico, the fan,
The
and
fan.
let's say, let's not all go to Mixquic, let's all not go to the Cementerio Principal of Oaxaca. There's a word in Spanish which we call verbena. People stepping on the tombs, making flash, who gets the better photo, and so on. So again, carrying capacity or whatever I insist upon should be definitely made an education. Let's say, why don't we tell the lady of the minister secretary, have you ever in your whole life heard of carrying capacity in a cemetery? She will say, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm busy with the other things. But that's what we have to say. We did
Well,
it once.
Marlene, I agree with you, and I think well, the thing that should be on your to-do list. I don't know what changes we can make in the next 6 weeks. Maybe, if any, I'd be surprised. But my suggestion to you is that I think you need to be writing about some of this now, and on your
Right.
wiki, you have a Muertos page on your wiki, and
No, I haven't done my homework.
and talk about the carrying capacity, and talk about the
Impacto
problem.
ambiental, ¿cómo se dice?
Fine, then talk about, and again, write it in Spanish. Uh, I'll help you. We can do a bilingual version. I'll certainly help you with the English.
Good, let's do it. Fine.
But get down some of your ideas, and I think that makes sense. Hey,
Well,
Abbie, one second, and Abbie, I wanted to ask you. Could you tell Marlene, if you? I remember it perfectly, but pretty well. Can you tell her how I took you to the Panteon General in Oaxaca City the day after Boris's altar?
Yeah, you mean the cemetery? Was that the name of it?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
The way
Now
you got there.
Yeah. Well, we were given a walking tour.
Oh, well,
which was
wonderful.
very, very lucky. We saw so much. So you took us to even your favorite eating places along the way as well. Is that what you were talking about, or the
That's
actual
what I'm talking about.
cemetery? Yeah, that was a gift, such an amazing gift to get that walking tour. It is transformed the visit.
We have to get Ron come each Day of the Dead to Mexico. There's nothing else to do, Ron. You have to do
But
it.
I don't, if not everyone can be so lucky. You'd be a busy man, and you'd have no voice left.
That is true. It was interesting. On the first, Boris has his altar to his grandparents there in Oaxaca, and Abbie and her friend were visiting and came to see the altar, and we got to talking, and I said, and they were going to go out to the cemetery that night, and I said, well, tomorrow, if you'd like, I'll take you to the cemetery, because I wanted to visit the cemetery the following day, because my friends who have the marimba were going to be performing.
That's right.
The marimba, the instrument from Africa, is so popular in Mexico, and good friends of mine who regularly perform at the Pachote market were going to the Panteon, and I said, oh, I'll go over there. So I picked up the gals and we walked over to the cemetery, and we were listening to marimba sounds. And I remember,
wonderful.
I don't know if you remember this, but I don't know if you remember this.
I've got recording of it.
but we walked in, and we heard a marimba, and I went, no, that just sounds too well in tune. You have to go further. And we went further.
Ron, do you have, by any chance, in a little map, your walking tour like the ones that Francisco made of the trees?
I do not.
Well, why don't you do it?
I've done. That's a good. I'll be happy to do it with you if you'd like. You know
I'm
what?
ready.
That would be very cool. And I was thinking if you wanted to go digital, you could do an app that's downloadable.
I'd like to use the, we were using Foursquare before it went under, but we can certainly use Google Maps and some of the other applications to show where things are.
For this Day of the Dead, we have a lot of time. We can, all of us, pitch in something new.
Well, that'd be good. And you're more than welcome to help edit the wiki, the Oaxaca wiki we have.
Okay.
But, and I'd be happy to, share where things are. But, what I think I was trying to convey, what made the walking tour so special was because we were able to go visit people.
Definitely. People are the most important.
When I was able to see, Don Lorenzo, the father who has the marimba, we went to go see him.
Claro.
And using that as the vantage point, to really enter into the cemetery was special. Here's a crazy aside, but a fellow writer, Jim O'Donnell, out of New Mexico, just wrote a wonderful essay about the faces of ecotourism in Finland. But what he talks about is the people, and the Finnish people in Finland, surprisingly, who make ecotourism really so special.
Finally, yes.
And it's not just a championship, kind of, what do I want to say? It's not just a puff piece. It's a really nice insights into the people. And as such, to me, I think it's great reading. But to me, that's what makes a tour. It's not just having a map. Anyone can have a map, but what you're looking for are the people.
Definitely, but that's what we did from the beginning in several parts with the trees that Francisco designed. I mean, even though there were the trees, you always said, "Oh, let's jump over at the Copala or places like that add a special charm to it, or Jalatlaco, and let's go to Arnel or whatever, Right now, well, one of the other things I want to change for a second, because I'm also on the verge of leaving. I'm doing something a bit unusual and new, but old as well, which is La Ruta de la Amistad, which was the design of the connection of a road between the Olympic village of the sports people and the Olympic village of the artists. We had a double Olympic, and they're restoring all of them thanks to the second floor they just built, which is horrible, but never mind. So they started rescuing all these beautiful places.
Marlene, can you see the screen right now?
Right now I can see it. That was my little, how did you get it? How did you do that?
I have my ways.
Wow. Yes, well, I worked at the Olympics with the East German big team, and I'm very fond of all the sculptors, and I've been recollecting photos and things like that. Oh, exactly. That's Roncito. I'm so happy you can.
Well, I'm happy that you put this on the Flickr, and we have the link.
Okay, look at that. All the big fellows. Yes, yes, yes. That's 1968.
And is this the sculpture?
Yes, that's one of the sculptures of a Swiss fellow called Willy Gutmann. I more or less know all the sculptors. Well, I knew them. This is Austria.
So what is your new tour? This is Mexico City?
No, this is the Sierra Tarahumara.
Okay. So tell us. So what are you going to do with this tour of de la Amistad?
I will combine it with the big, the most ancient pyramid called Cuicuilco, which is in the south of the city where the Olympic Village is and the university very near. So you can combine a walking tour, visiting all these monumental sculptures, and then explaining ancient pre-Hispanic ceremonial centers. And I'm doing this with the Institute Instituto Nacional de Antropología e Historia, which is the big institute that has the protection of the monuments, all the museums, all the archaeological sites. And we do paseos culturales, which in many ways I want to tourism anymore.
Beautiful.
I call them visitors, and I call them paseos, paseadores, and I think we have to change the idea, because every time I say tour and tourism, people think of these glass hotels and the all-inclusive, and we have to change that idea, definitely. And ecotourism should be changed as well. Instead of ecotourism, eco whatever. What would be good? So let's invent new words.
As always, I love it. Hey, we're going to wind this up. Abbie, do you have any news to report?
Just that I'm coming back. So,
Ron, are you coming back?
Well, one second. That's the question. Hey, Abbie, when are you going to be in Mexico City?
Well, this time I'm actually going to go and explore Tulum and Chiapas, and then Oaxaca. So I'll arrive on the 18th and be wandering around until November the 5th at this stage.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
So are you going to be on your way in Mexico City or not at all?
Yeah, I'll be in Mexico City for at least a month recording the new Soldadera album with Twin Tones. Yeah.
In November?
So, yeah, all of November. And it will be, it's like a story album with a comic.
Okay,
so,
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you folks can maybe touch base while you're there.
Let's
where are you?
I'm in
Where
Mexico
you,
City, very near the university in Coyoacán.
Oh, wow, near La Casa Azul, okay.
The Casa Azul is near me.
Ah, that's great. Okay,
and I'm of the most, well, I'm their guide for several languages, so they call me now and then when some people come, like important visitors. And if you look at my webpage, I have a whole tour called Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera.
Okay. All right.
So
I'll have to get that.
Ron will send you my webpage.
I will.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Ron, you
listen.
come to the Day of the Dead. Come.
Listen, do me a favor and don't hang up. But we're going to end the online broadcast or webcast portion right now. But stay online, and we'll wind this conversation up. But I want to thank you both for your time, and Marlene, thank you for your invitation. I certainly will get to Mexico when I can, and I'll let you know. So
you definitely should not even doubt it. Come to Mexico. It's an obligation.
It is a strong desire as well. Well, I want to thank people for watching, and we do these Hangouts on a regular basis. I want to thank you people for asking some questions, for Abbie for coming in, and thank you much to Verena as well. And Marlene, as always, a pleasure. And we will continue this conversation. It's certainly not the end.
Good. Thank you. Bye-bye.